Hello, so I'm back on trail. It's going on about noon. Mammoth was really a neat town. We didn't stay directly in it. We stayed at a small cabin above what I believe is called Silver Lake, about 9,000 feet. But the best part about our stay in Mammoth was that we kind of formed a little bit of reformed a bit of a trail family. So there's all sorts of terminology, like I've mentioned before, out on trail, but one term we use is a tramley, so that's your trail family. And it feels really good. Right now, I've been hiking with Sniff for about 400 miles. Hoot is another hiker I met a couple times previously during the hike. Been tracking his progress. Sniff and Hoot hiked like 1,000 miles together. So Hoot decided to take it a little bit easier yesterday. We caught up with him yesterday morning. We still did 20 miles. He only did like 8. But he's hiking with us now. So it's now Sniff, Hoot, Barefoot, who's been hiking with us for about a week. Myself and another hiker named 2 Mile, all hiking in a group of 5, which is awesome. We're not hiking right next to one another every moment, but we all have the same plan to try to get to the same campsite tonight. So excited to have that going for us. We're doing about 25 today. Let me grab some water here quick. So I apologize in advance for those who are sensitive about potty humor, but I think it's hilarious. And I mention this because I learned a new term, a new thru hiking term. It's called a gordy. So a gordy is a reference to apparently a hockey player, famous hockey player, Gordy something or other, who frequently got or achieved hat tricks, which is scoring 3 goals in one game. Now, someone very clever coined the term a gordy on trail. So, gordy is a rare feat, typically accomplished on a day coming out of town, in which you poop in a pit toilet, frequently at trailheads, a flush toilet, which is why it usually occurs on a town day, and you poop in a cat hole that you dig in the backcountry. So, as of 3 p.m. today, I accomplished my first gordy. From the top of Silver Pass at 10:09. Funky little kind of flat valley down below us here. Imagine we're gonna go walk through. It's just amazing to be in a place like this without anyone else in view. In such a massive landscape. Got a cool switchbacked canyon descent here to finish the day. Dropping many more 1,000 feet than we climbed up the Silver Pass. I'm sure that won't be the case with every pass. We just got lucky going southbound with this one. Morning. It's October 3rd, day 76. We started at 10 a.m. yesterday, leaving the little cabin out of Mammoth. And so didn't have an opportunity to get a really big day in, but still got 25.6 miles in, which is pretty good. Sets us up for a nice 4 to 5 day carry through this portion of the Sierras, over the majority of the passes to most likely Independence, California, via Kearsarge Pass. So when we come back, we'll actually only have one more high pass to traverse. That'll be Forester Pass, which is the highest of the trail at over 13,000 feet. I started this morning just a hair before 6 a.m. Days are getting shorter. I walked in the dark for about 30 minutes or so until 6:30. It's bright now. Eating my breakfast on the go as usual. These Bobos oatmeal bars have become my favorites. I still eat a Pop-Tart too for the sugar. Nice morning views here on Monday. I consider this better than a normal working Monday. This is just basically like one long weekend. So I've never seen streams so full of wild brook trout as in the high Sierras. But I love this, even in the tiny little feeder streams. You can see brook trout spawn just hanging out in these smaller waters. There's much less risk of predation for them. But I mean, these streams are just teeming with life. You can see where it feeds down to the bigger water. What a beautiful spot here on Marie Lake, just below Selden Pass up above. Gorgeous, clear, deep water. Full of fish, I just scared them all away. And the view at Selden Pass from above Marie Lakes doesn't disappoint. Down next to it didn't look quite so blue, but up here it's gorgeous. Let's have some fun. Here's a pre-dawn view of a mountain they call the Hermit as I'm working my way up to Muir Pass here before sunrise. Good morning, it's Tuesday, October 4th, day 77 of the hike. Got a nice early start this morning, about 5:45. I'm up high already, above 10,000 feet. Watching the sunrise as I climb up to Muir Pass. Muir Pass will be my first time above 12,000 feet on trail. Yesterday I did 32 and a half, which I felt like was a pretty good day for the Sierras, challenging terrain. In fact, that gives me some options with the next resupply. I might be able to go a little bit further with the amount of food that I have and planned. So the plan is still evolving, but I felt great after doing 32.5 miles. So I'm confident that I can keep that up in the Sierras. So I'm shooting for around 35 or a little bit more today. We'll see if it happens or not, but I'm feeling good. I'm in a stunningly gorgeous place. Things couldn't get a whole lot better. Crystal clear Wanda Lake at 11:05. About 500 more feet of elevation gain to Muir Pass. I'm not sure what these are. I think they might be snowy ptarmigans, but sorry to disturb you guys. They're quite calm. Don't seem to mind that I'm here. Maybe they might be on a nest. And we're at the top of Muir Pass. Just a hair under 12,000, about 11.95. And there's this Muir shelter. This is a really long approach to this pass. So when people do this in the snow, sometimes weather can cause some potentially dangerous conditions. So this is built at the very top of the pass in recognition of John Muir and for shelter for hikers who might need it. Let's take a look inside. It's stunning up here though. It brings to mind, brings to mind the saying, built like a brick shit house. This is as sturdy as it gets. Wow. Entirely stunning. This is really cool craftsmanship. I don't think there's any wood around me burning a fire, but how about this? Built in 1930. Tank got a little wet from condensation last night, so I'm working on a little drying action. Got a nice sunny meadow. The fly fisherman's dream. It's beautiful. And a good breeze. Got my bag. Tent turned inside out here. Everything should be dry here within a couple minutes. Pack up and get going. But until then, I got to enjoy a beautiful sight. How about these switchbacks? Don't see that on the Appalachian Trail, but that was helpful. Views from the top of Mather Pass. We're above 12,000 this time. I think about 12,1. One heck of a climb up here. This is a tough one. I'm pretty darn beat. I think by the end of the day I'll have about 37 miles in the bag with, I'll have to look, but 7,000 plus feet of elevation gain. Beautiful alpenglow. Working my way down to a lower elevation to camp for the night. Good morning, it's August 5th, day 78. Recording a little bit later today. Not taking as much video, trying to conserve some battery, make sure I have enough to run my GPS for the next couple days before I get into town. I already finished one pass this morning. Pinchot Pass was only 2,000 feet of climbing. Still tough. Yesterday was a big day. Got 37 miles in. Finished the day with a butt-kicking climb over the Mather Pass. So I was pretty wiped, but I'm feeling good this morning. Shooting for around 30-ish miles today to the base of Forester Pass, which is the last big pass in the Sierras. And then one more solid day tomorrow should put me near Cottonwood Pass, which hopefully will give me access to the town of Lone Pine for resupply and a little rest. It's been really great. Amazing scenery up here. Not quite as green as the Northern Cascades were, but beautiful, enormous granite mountains. Also been really enjoying meeting a bunch of other southbounders. Like I mentioned earlier, a ton of them kind of converged here this time because no one wants to be out here when the snow comes and it gets really cold. So I met a whole bunch in the last 2 days. I met Lake Start, Simi, Mama Cluck, Death Trap. Just met Stubbs and her hiking partner. Also just met Wings, a guy I haven't seen since Washington who skipped down here. All sorts of hikers that, again, I've been seeing, kind of keeping track of in logs, or some that I haven't seen for a long time, and everyone's just come together. So it's a special place here in the Sierras. This is tremendously beautiful water. I'm going to miss this water once we get to the desert. And we have to do 20, 30-mile carries between sources that aren't that good. Rookies galore. A beach in the mountains. Just had the privilege of taking a very nice but cold swim. I'm gonna sit down in the sun and just enjoy this. Second to last pass. One pass complete. This guy's got a collar on. This must be doing some research in this area. The day is coming to a close here as it gets close to about 7 p.m. I'm gonna camp about midway up the climb to Forester Pass, which is the highest elevation you actually reach on trail at just about 13,000 feet. So this will be as high as I've camped, just below 11,000 feet. I've been pretty warm other nights, so I think it'll be just fine up here. The other thing is, it can actually be colder down in the valleys where the cold air settles. So I have had problems sleeping above 10,000 feet previously, but that was before I was really acclimated to these elevations. Now I've been consistently above 10,000 feet daily for at least a week and a half. So should have a good start tomorrow. Morning. This is an extra special morning. It's October 6th, day 79. Started my day this morning at 5:30, working my way up Forester Pass here to 13,100 feet, which will be the highest we achieve on trail. My goal was to get up the Forester Pass for sunrise. I'm pretty close. I don't know how much more, but this is a pretty good spot too, with some amazing 360 views. So yesterday did about 28.5 miles. Today I'm shooting for a big day to get into, to go to Cottonwood Pass and down to Horseshoe Meadows, which is a popular day hiking trailhead, and hopefully catch a ride into Lone Pine, which is a small town that I've been very excited about visiting for a long time. It is a setting for a lot of different Western films, a couple older Western films, Tremors. I loved Tremors as a kid, so excited to hopefully make it there tonight. It's a little ambitious. If I don't get in, I have to get a hitch from the trailhead. If I don't get a hitch tonight, I at least should be really close to the trailhead tomorrow morning, and hopefully someone will give me a ride into town tomorrow. Here we are. Just a tiny little pass in this high ridge, 13,200 feet, leaving Kings Canyon National Park and entering Sequoia National Park. Fortunately, we don't go down that way. There was a PCT hiker earlier this year, actually, a girl in her 20s, who passed away here from altitude sickness. So she had summited Whitney the day before, and then near the top of Forester, she had cerebral edema and passed away before emergency services could get to her. So I've got this all to myself this morning. It's perfectly peaceful and quiet. Just want to remember. Pretty wild piece of trail here. Just walking along cliff edge. So I've got to say, in reflection, you know, there's still really more than just the descent here from Forester Pass until the Sierras are done, but that's kind of like the climax of the Sierras. It's all falling action from here, but these mountains are incredible. You know, they're giant, they're intimidating, they're stark, they have a nature all their own. And I'm sure that the experience is different for northbounders coming through here in the springtime when they're covered in snow. A lot of people say the Sierras is their favorite section, and I could see that from a northbounder's perspective. But having done almost all the Sierras now, from a southbounder's perspective, I would say that the northern Cascades were my favorite and the most spectacular and stunning by far. You didn't reach near the elevation. The mountains weren't as enormous and, say, all consuming. For instance, I haven't had cell service for 5 days. Even at these passes of 12, 13,000 feet, you're just surrounded by towering granite cliffs, higher than the passes. So this is true isolation in an area of desolation. But the Cascades were stunning. With the snow melt, there was so much color, so much life. There was green everywhere. There were wildflowers. The rock of the mountains themselves, I think, varied a little bit more in color and set more of a stark contrast that was just so beautiful. Everything here right now with no snow is a shade of, dare I say, gray or brown or tan, something like that. While the Sierras has been a very unique, different experience. I guess you shouldn't even really be comparing the Cascades to the Sierras because it's an apples to oranges kind of deal. I've truly enjoyed the Sierras, but Cascades takes the cake in my opinion. The landscape honestly seems to be changing already. No towering walls of granite. Looks like the mountains ahead are more sedimentary rather than metamorphic. Kind of crazy how quickly it's changed. This landscape kind of brings memories back from the trek Jacob from dental school and I did in the Iowa Sky in Scotland. Kind of these like sweeping hills strewn with boulders and a grassy landscape. It's interesting to me, there's many of these trees that only have half their bark. They're still living. I don't think that's a feature you would see in deciduous trees, at least I've never seen it. Passing the turn off to Mount Whitney here. A lot of PCT hikers will summit Mount Whitney as part of their hike. I thought about doing it from the start and wanted to, but given my timeline and wanting to get back and have the time to reacclimate before starting back working in dentistry, I think I value time at home with friends and family, even if it is a day or two extra, above climbing yet another peak. The passes were all incredible. I've gotten tons of views. No regrets there. And it gives me a reason to maybe come back someday. And while we're at it, check out this beautiful little guy. It's like things are getting drier already. Definitely not like any of the scenery of the past 4 days. Is it just me, or does this route look like a sticky bun? I think thoughts of home are starting to creep in. Amish farmers markets, Pennsylvania baked goods. Fantastic landscape here in Sequoia National Park. altogether different than anything I've seen so far. We are leaving Sequoia National Park. We're 11:03 here. Sequoia is actually the southernmost national park of our hike. So we never entered Death Valley National Park. We skirt the edge of it. But, yep, 700 miles or something like that. 750 miles left, and that was our last one. Extremely sandy tread here for a couple miles. Makes it kind of hard to make progress, actually. Finishing our walk across the ridge line here. And this point is at 11.5. This is, I have to check, but I know that this is as high as we will be for a very long time. I don't know if we'll ever get to 11.5 again. I think maybe Mount San Jacinto in Southern California is closer, a little bit higher, but this is it for a little while. Welcome to Lone Pine, California. So this is an incredible little town. It's 10,000 feet below Mount Whitney. It's 4,000 feet elevation. You can see the ridges of the high Sierras in the background. I came down from there last night. I got a hitch from a trailhead called Horseshoe Meadows. The road down is absolutely nuts, but this town is where a ton of Western films were done, as well as Trevor's was also filmed here. It's a neat little place. Probably be here through around like midday. I'm gonna do some laundry now, grab breakfast, get a resupply at the grocery store in town. They're having a Western Film Festival this weekend. Last night I saw a bunch of people out dressed in their Western clothing. After 5 days consecutively of Pop-Tarts and granola bars, quite excited about this. Love it. Let's just take a moment to appreciate this McDonald's architecture.